Someone should tell Gen Xers it's okay to cry, because that amount of eye twitching can't be good for you. You just ask them, hey, what was your childhood like? And they just kind of stare off in the distance and kind of twitch. And you're like, okay. Well, you know. But it's so interesting looking at, and you know, I say this just as a history buff. I'm not saying it as like, you know, a sort of having a parasocial relationship with fast food. But I like learning about the history of like fast food restaurants. Because again, I just like history. And so, like, I think I was eating in a Roy Rogers the other day in Maryland, and I've never been in a Roy Rogers. And apparently it's just like a Bojangles or something. They just have like chicken and biscuits. And there's like some interesting history to it, because apparently it has a lot to do with like Virginia or something. Like, the history of Roy Rogers is actually really interesting for Virginia, even though I was eating at it in a Maryland. Like, although apparently it's based off of a like Western cowboy actor, so that's interesting. Let's see. So apparently, Roy Rogers franchise. It's located in the Mid-Atlantic. Let's see. The chain originated as the rebranding of the Roby's House of Beef chain in Fort Wayne, Indiana, acquired by the Marriott Corporation, which is like a hotel corporation, right? That's like about hotels. They got bought up by a hotel. That's wild. Is that not weird to anyone else? That's like if, like, I mean, sort of, kinda. That's like if Best Western bought McDonald's or something, you know? Like, why don't you have a McDonald's and a Best Western then, you know? Like, but yeah. What do we got? Here we go. And so you got on further. However, Marriott first used the Roy Rogers roast beef name on conversions of the company's junior hot shops in the Washington, D.C. area in 1968. Areas served is predominantly West Virginia, Maryland, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Virginia. That's wild. So they were basically like, hey, we're going to make a fast food chain off of a cowboy, and then Marriott was like, the fuck you are? Let's see. What is this? Okay, here we go. The first Roy Rogers restaurant opened up on co-founder and Hot Shops manager Henry L. Wright's property in April 1968 in the Bailey's Crossroads section of Falls Church, Virginia. Leesburg Pike. I'm like, what? This is like weird Virginia history, if you think about it. Like, just some awkward Virginia fun facts for you. Nice, dude. Is that what people in like the lower Atlantic and upper Atlantic and the rest of the country are excited about? They're like, yo, I get to go to Virginia. I can go to see a Roy Rogers. I was trying to do like a weird German accent, but that went places. All right, put one at the top and the bot. Oh, I love this song for this level because it sounds like an actual like pirate jig. I believe they call those sea shanties, but all right. Uh-oh, no. Yeah. There once was a man named Heathen. A man has a big old pants and no, the man with his big ass pants. Like, this is straight up a sea shanty, dog. But prepare for liberation, dude. Let's go. We're gonna give these Australians here a Roy Rogers to remember, you know? You ever just like wonder like how exactly did Australia become our vassal state? You know what's so funny about Australia? So here's the funny thing about Outback Steakhouse, right? So Outback Steakhouse has this whole marketing ploy where they're like supposed to be Australian or something. But Outback Steakhouse is like very American. Like it was made in America and all this stuff. Well, here's the funny thing about that, right? The thing about what was I talking about? Australia. Anyway, the funny thing about Outback Steakhouse. So there's this like, there's been this like little like myth busting about Outback Steakhouse, about how Outback Steakhouse is not really that Australian because actually it's like American or something. But here's the funny thing about that. Nothing is more Australian than originally having been American. So, that's all I'm gonna say, because Australians love America, dude! Because isn't Rupert Murdoch Australian, too? And nothing's more American than Fox News! Kidding, by the way, but, you know. NM. Love when people say NM. That awkward moment when people say partner. Yo, why it smell like gay in here? It smell like gay. Oh. Yes! Yes! Yo, so friggin', I've been playing Sonic Origins, right? Whole thing about Sonic Origins is that, you know, it has basically the first old 4 Sonic games. Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Sonic CD, Sonic 3, and Knuckles. Shit! Well, the whole thing that happens is the old Sonic games are kinda sorta hard, man. They're kinda sorta hard. And here's the deal. I have beaten Sonic 1. Since I've been playing Sonic Origins, I have beaten Sonic 1, which is called Sonic the Hedgehog because it was the first debut game, so it was just called Sonic the Hedgehog. But it's easy to remember because it's Sonic 1 and it came out in 1991. So Sonic is 5 years older than me, isn't that neat? What happens though is, so I beat Sonic 1. The thing about Sonic 1 is there's a lot of what's called memory traps, where basically there's just like enemies just like everywhere, and like the game corrals you into them too. And it's funny because this whole joke about, you know, Sonic gotta go fast, it's like, it's kind of bullcrap because you have to be careful as hell in old Sonic games because there's so many memory traps. There's so many like, oh, watch out for this, watch out for that. What we got? We got, so how do I...
Target that MOAB. Defend that exit.
I'm gonna be completely honest. I was texting like a bitch, like a bitch. Yeah, okay. I cannot be doing that voice. Oh my god.